How are we doing, people? It's Revival of Wisdom. We're back today talking about sun worship. Okay? And please enjoy, sit back and enjoy the video. First thing we need to understand is that the sun is the risen savior. It's the light of the world. Without the sun, we have nothing. Now, the sun is the Son of God. We didn't make the sun. No one owns the sun. But who created the sun? Obviously, the Creator created the sun. Therefore, it is the Son of God. And that is what Jesus is symbolizing in the Bible. The Bible is a metaphorical story. That's why it's called the greatest story ever told. Because it is a story about the sun, the zodiac. It's about you, the systems in the body. It's about everything that is sacred in this creation. Now you can see the suns behind Jesus' head in all of the ancient portraits. Even the ones that are more modern, you still see a sun on the back of his head. Because he is the sun. He's the light of the world, our risen savior. And this is what Christians are lost, because they don't realize it's a symbolic story and they think Jesus was a historical person. He's not a historical person. Okay? This is what we need to get out of our mind. This wasn't a historical person. It's the sun, our risen savior. The sun is the soul. It's the soul of this creation. Because what is a soul? A soul is pure life force, pure energy. Whatever a soul inhabits, it gives life to. Like our soul feeds our body. The sun feeds the earth, because the sun is a soul, and that's why the ancients called it Sol. Because it's the soul, and it's in you, and it's the light of the world. It's the light of everything. It gives life to all things. Here's Jesus and his 12 disciples. The 12 disciples symbolize the 12 zodiac signs. Aries, it rules the head region, because the 12 zodiac constellations rule specific regions of your body. Aries, the ram, you have a cerebrum in your head. This is Aries on the head of the table. His Gemini rules the arms and the lungs. The two twins, Gemini. He's holding up 2 hands for the 2 hands and arms. The twins. Cancer has a knife in his hand. It's not so clear, but he has a knife in his hand. Cancer is the crab. Crabs have claws. And he's pointing at Virgo's Adam's apple, saying there's no Adam's apple there. It's a woman. Who's the 6th sign? The 6th sign is Virgo, the Virgin. The only woman in the painting. Now notice how there are 3 people in 4 groups. For the 4 seasons and for the 3 months and 3 zodiac signs in each season. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John with the suns on the back of their heads, because it's the 4 states of the sun. The 4 states of the sun. Now, 6th sign, Virgo, the Virgin, the only woman in the painting with no Adam's apple. Then we have the sun, Jesus, red and blue, red shift, blue shift. Electromagnetism. The ancients knew this. He's got one hand open, one hand down, because the sun gives and retrieves. The sun rises and it falls. It gives, then pulls away. That's what the sun does, and that's what he's doing. His arms are out, symbolizing the rays of the sun, casting down onto the earth, giving and then receiving. Libra, his 2 hands are equal, he's holding his arms out equally, because Libra is the 2 balanced scales. Libra is when the sun is balanced between the summer and the winter. It's being judged. The sun isn't balanced. That's what Libra is, the 2 scales. Capricorn is the goat. Goats have 2 horns, and you can see the 2 horns on his head here. See? So this is astrology. This is what Leonardo da Vinci is depicting here. It's astrology. He knew the story of the Bible is all astrology. It's all based on astrology. The Son of God, the real sun. Now here are some Bible verses. I am the light of the world. Obviously, that's the sun. What other light is there that lights up the world? The moon can't do it. It's the sun, the one and only sun, our risen savior. Because if the sun didn't rise, we'd all be dead. So it's our risen Savior. And it dies for our sins every night and then gets reborn every day. Now Jesus calms the storm. Mark 4:35-41. The disciples are all on a boat and there's a heavy storm. But Jesus is asleep. The disciple says, Jesus is asleep. We need to awake him. They wake up Jesus, and Jesus got up and rebuked the wind and said to the waves, quiet, be still. Then the wind died down and it was completely calm. Well, when Jesus was asleep, this is the sun not being risen. It's not risen yet. Because in the night times, that's when the storms happen on the sea, in the ocean. And when they awake Jesus, Jesus rises because he's the sun. He rises and everything calms. Because when the sun comes, the storms go. You see? So it's the sun. It's all about the sun. Here's another, Luke 22:10. A disciple asked Jesus, when will we know it's the end times? And Jesus says, as you enter the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him to the house that he enters. Well, this is clearly talking about astrology, the topic that Christians think is satanic, when they don't realize the whole thing's based on astrology. Because the end times is the end of Pisces, which is the two fish, which is the age we've just gone out of. And you can see all these ancient churches here with two fishes, because they knew it was the age of Pisces. There's an ancient photo, ancient artwork with the two fish, Pisces. And the end times, as it talks about in the Bible, and Christians think the world's going to end or something. But no, it's just the end of Pisces. As you enter the city, a man carrying a jar will meet you. Follow him to the house. The house is the zodiac sign that he enters. And the zodiac sign is Aquarius, because that's what it is, a man carrying the water. We know this is astrology because a woman, that is a woman's job in the ancient times. In the ancient times, the woman used to get the water. You would never see a man collecting water back then. That was the woman's job, whilst the man builds the houses, for example. You see, so we know it's talking about astrology because astrology is the man holding the bucket of water. It's the end of Pisces. Now we are in Aquarius. And of course, Luke 24:36, the risen Savior, the sun. Now the sun is also born on the 25th of December, a virgin, just like Horus, Mithra, Buddha, Krishna, Hermes, and thousands of other gods, all born on the 25th of December. Well, it's because the sun moves 1 degree northward on the 25th of December. And on the 22nd to the 24th, it stays in the same degree because it's moving south. But then on the 22nd, it stays in the same degree on the Southern Crux constellation. And the ancients called this the sun dies on a cross, because the cross is the Crux constellation, the Southern Cross. And it stays on that same degree for 3 days on the cross. The sun dies on a cross, and then on the 25th moves 1 degree northward, bringing back the summer, the light, the warmth, the growth of crops. And this is the sun being reborn again, a virgin, because it's pure. And here's Mithra, another sun god before Jesus was around, before Christianity. It was Mithraism, and Mithra, Ra is Ra, the sun god, Egypt. It's all about Ra, the sun. You see the crown of thorns on Jesus' head, symbolizing the rays of the sun. And here are the rays of the sun on the back of Mithra's head. Krishna, the sun. Buddha, the sun. Horus, horizon. All born virgins, all did miracles, all resurrected. Dead for 3 days. Well, here he is, dead for 3 days on the cross. And resurrected, because it's the most ancient religion ever been on the face of the earth, the worship of the sun. And we should worship the sun, because without the sun we are nothing. The sun feeds us, feeds the earth, feeds everything. Without the sun we are nothing. It's been reversed, and now we're worshipping man, when we're worshipping a man called Jesus was never real. It's all about the sun, the Most High. the most powerful, potent celestial body in the sky, the orb that feeds us every day. It dies for our sins and rises every day. It's the sun. Now on the Holy Communion Day, it's the worship of the sun. They give out mini suns. It's Jesus holding a sun. And they raise the sun on Sunday, because they go to worship their sun god on Sunday. Not Saturn Day, not Moon Day, Monday, but on Sunday when the sun is exalting. And they hold suns up above their heads because the sun rises. They're symbolizing the sun rising above their heads as Savior. It's the sun. It's the Holy Communion Day. And here's Jesus giving a piece of himself to the children. It's the sun, the light. Judas was known as a backbiter, a backstabber, because he stabbed Jesus in the back. He betrayed Jesus. Well, this is just another astrological story about the constellation Scorpio, because the Scorpio is the J. Looks like a J. J for Judas, the scorpion, the backbiter. Scorpions backbite. They bite with their back. And what does Judas do? He betrays Jesus by kissing him to let the warriors know who they need to get. So he kisses Jesus, and Jesus gets stabbed in the back. Well, when you get stung or bit by a scorpion, they leave like a kiss. So Judas kisses him and gets betrayed. Well, this is because the sun, when it hits Libra, it's balanced. The sun is balanced because it comes through summer. Now the sun's starting to die. The sun's starting to die. It hits Libra. And then as soon as it hits the Scorpio, it gets betrayed because now the sun has to fall to winter, and Saturn is there waiting to take over the darkness of the winter. So he gets stabbed in the back by Scorpio, Judas, the scorpion, the backstabber. You see, it's an astrological story. Here's Mary. Mary means marry, which means pure. The sun is pure. No one gave birth to the sun but the God. And it's born every day. It's born every day on every year. It's born pure. There was no controversy. There was no, activity for the sun to be born. It's pure. Now, the 7 metals come from the 7 planets. The sun gives you gold, and this is why the sun is golden. It looks gold. And this is why the banks are backed by gold, because gold is the most valuable metal, because it's the sun, the most valuable celestial orb in the sky, in the heavens. Well, here's Jesus, another ancient symbol of him being crucified on the cross with the big sun, the Southern Crux constellation. The sun dies on the cross constellation. And if you go to the old etymology dictionaries, you will see sun and son is the same word. They come from the same etymology roots. You can use them for no matter what, but they've been confused today. But if you go back to the old dictionaries of etymology, they are interchangeable. You can use them. Son, sun, sol, it's all the same thing. The 12 disciples, 12 brothers of Joseph, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 breastplates on the stones, because it's all the 12 astrological signs. They could have used any other number, but there's 12. Because 12 is the mind, which is God. 7 is the number of matter, which is man. 7 energy centers in the body. 12 cranial nerves in the brain, because it's the mind. 12 is the 12ness. The zodiac is literally the mind of God, the signs of God. Now here we see here, Job 38, 31 to 33. Can you lead forth a constellation in the season? He's asking you, can you read the sky? Can you read the heavens? Canst thou bring forth the Mazzaroth in its season? Mazzaroth means 12 signs, the zodiac. Why did they translated every single Hebrew word in the Bible into English, but they decided to leave out Mazzaroth? Why? It's because if that said zodiac, Christians would have a different view on the Bible, but they leave that out. But Mazzaroth actually means the 12 signs, the zodiac, and the stars means sign. The word stars means sign because the stars are signs, things to come, which is off. in Hebrew, which means sign, things to come. You see a sign on the road, it's something coming. But God is saying, no, what does he say? To qualify as a director, a judge of man's life on earth, one must be able to govern the heavenly bodies that rule the earth. It's telling you to read the heavens. We need to read the heavens. Astrology, the 12 zodiac signs, the mind of God. It's telling you, read the Mazzaroth, read the zodiac, because they are things to come in your life. They are signs. It's not satanic, it's made by God. God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs. Signs are things to come. The 12 zodiac signs. It's all about astrology. Here's Mary holding the sun. His son, her son. It's the sun in the sky. The one and only, the most high. The soul, the solo because it's on its own. The most powerful, Ra, radiance. Here's the Pope holding the sun. All three popes holding the sun, because they're sun worshippers and they know the true meaning and origins behind Christianity. Sun worship. Here's the Vatican is a sundial. Yes, this is literally a clock. Your watch is a sundial. It's got 12 sections on it for the 12 zodiac signs. 12 hours, 12 Horuses. Now here you see Jesus walking on water. Well, it's the sun, and here's the beard of the sun. Here's the pyramid of the sun, the illuminated one, the all-seeing eye, the sun. Here's the Ankh. The sun creates these symbols. The ancients knew this. Now, when you see these headdresses, these are actually the days of precession of the sun. Aries, Cancer, Libra. It's all about the sun. Here's some more sun worship going back to Egypt. Ra, Horus, Osiris, and Set. Jesus and Satan is Horus and Set. The sun and Saturn. Saturn rules the winter, Satan. Jesus, the sun, the light of the world, rules the summer, rules the day. Satan's the night, Saturn's the night, the sun is the day. The evil brother, Satan. Well, Horus comes, this is where we get the word hours from. There are 12 Horuses. The sun moves in 12 Horuses, 12 hours. Where's Horus? What hour is it? Where's Horus? His Ra, 12 noon, Ra, radiates, powerful, the most high sun. That's why he has a sun on the top of his head. These are the 4 states of the sun. Set, sunset. This is why we say sunset, because the sun is setting. His sunset, his Horus, horizon. The Horus is rising, Ra radiating, and the sunset. Then midnight is Osiris. Here's another ancient symbol for the sun, the scarab. Ra, the sun, scarab. It's got the word Ra in it because it's the sun. And here's the sun on top of the scarab with the wings. Because scarabs roll dung up hills, and then they'll let it fall down the hill to gain more matter. To gain more, bigger, like a snowball effect. And the ancients saw this as a process of the sun, because the sun climbs up the hill and then it falls. So they used the scarab to symbolize the process of the sun. The sun climbs and falls. Here's an ancient Egyptian cat cutting off the head of the serpent. Well, the cat is cutting off the head of the serpent, symbolizes the sun cutting off the nighttime. When the sun rises, it cuts off the nighttime. It cuts off the serpent. The serpents represent darkness or evil. Oh, there's some more symbology of the sun and the heavens, the arch, the royal arch, the firmament, the sun inside the firmament. These are all ancient churches, and they all depict the firmament with the sun inside. Is the ancient cosmology, you see, because it's all about the sun. Everything's about the sun, because the sun is our orb made for us to sustain life and this inside of this creation, inside of this firmament, the royal arch of heaven. Here's the Freemasons depicting it. Here's the Masonic royal arch. But you can even see the zodiac signs. Here's Cancer, the checkered board. It's the royal arch of the firmament. Obviously, they don't want to tell you that. You live in space, apparently. Some more sun worship. Here's the beard of the sun on the water. They all have this long beard. And why do they say amen? Amen at the end of every prayer. Amen is a sun god, a creator god. It's all about the sun. So thank you all, people. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all gained some knowledge and insight. Please give me a follow, drop a comment, drop a like. Have a good day. Love you all. What is good, people? We're back with another video, and today we're talking about the chakras. Let's jump straight into this because I know there's been a lot of requests for this video. So let's jump straight into this. So you have 7 chakras, right? 7 chakras, and these chakras are feeding off your electromagnetic field, known as your aura. This is both positive and a negative pole, male and female, right? This electromagnetic field is made out of electric and magnetism, and together they come as electromagnetic. Now, your chakras, the word chakra just means wheel, spinning wheel, because that's what they are. They are spinning wheels of energy. They do not exist on this physical plane. They exist on the etheric plane. Okay? Now, these energy centers are known to regulate your emotions, and each energy center controls the organs and cells in that particular area of the body. So, for example, your sacral chakra will control the cells and organs of your sexual reproduction area. Okay? The navel chakra or solar plexus will control the digestion in your body. Same with the heart, same with the throat, right? So they are like mini brains for each center of your body. They run along up the spine, but notice the crown chakra exists outside the body. It's just above the head. Now, this process of the chakras is obviously the 7 colors of the rainbow, starting from red, which is the lowest vibrational color, all the way to violet, which is the highest vibrational color. This, like I said, these energy centers are feeding off your electromagnetic field. So if these chakras are unbalanced, they are taking too much energy from your electromagnetic field, making it weaker. Now, this is the North Pole. As you all know, the Earth is flat, and we live inside of a giant Taurus field. And the North Pole is the Earth's heart chakra. And this is why the Aurora Borealis, or the Northern Lights, whatever you want to call them, that's why they are green, and they are being emitted from this center point of the Earth, because it's symbolizing the heart chakra, which is green, right? Now, you do work your way up to these. However, this is a Taurus field. You are a Taurus field. You have different layers of this Taurus field, right? And you need to balance all of these chakras, but you can't move up these chakras until you open the one below it. So it's like a stairway. You can't go to your solar plexus without going through your sacral. You see? So you have to work up these. However, you have to work up these and then live from the heart, because the heart is the center of the Taurus field. It's the balance between male and female poles, positive and negative poles. So you have to balance all of these chakras and then bring them all into one, which is the heart chakra. Now, they exist on the etheric plane. They exist on the etheric plane, and the etheric plane is a layer of the material plane. It's the one higher than the material plane, and then after the etheric plane it melts into the astral plane. So they exist just between the physical and the astral aspect. Now this is the yin and yang matter, which is the lowest root chakra, physical matter, and then to spirit, because high vibrational matter turns into spirit, low vibrational spirit turns into matter. So they're interchangeable. This is the yin and yang. Now when you see ancient paintings with the halos, you see this is like a toroidal field coming out the top of his head, you see, with a halo. This was symbolizing in the old days, in the ancient days, that they've aligned their chakra, they've reached Christ consciousness, which is God consciousness, right? Now, this electromagnetic field is the apple that we bit out of in the Bible, because you see the apple is a Taurus field. So they were metaphorically or personifying the Taurus field. That's what the Bible is. It's a massive personification. It's all metaphors. You have to read it properly. It's got a greater meaning behind it. Now, when we bit from the apple, we ate from the tree of knowledge, which is good and evil. Our lower mind took over, so we materialized to feed our physical bodies. We materialized through Saturn. That's what Saturn does. Now, if you don't understand that, go and watch the video previous to this one called Occult Secrets of Saturn, and that will show you how Saturn is the materializer. Now, this is one of the secrets behind the Masonic compass: electric and magnetic, male and female, duality, positive and negative. Now, like I said, they teach you about the Taurus field, about a magnet in school, but they don't teach you about your electromagnetic field. Everything alive has a Taurus field. It is the building block of this creation. Absolutely everything has a Taurus field. There's not one thing without it. And as you can see here at the center of the apple, that's where the seed is. That's where the life is. The reproduction of that organism. As you see, this is where the most electromagnetic energy is stored, in the center, because this is where the two duality, this is where the field meets, at the very center. This is why the seed is at the very center. Now, your spine is a elongation of the brain. The brain is heaven, and the bottom of the spine is hell. So this is Saturn, which is the root chakra. The 7 planets are associated with each chakra. Moon equals mind. Okay, now Saturn is physical matter, as I've just explained. This is the lowest vibrational color, and they want you trapped down here, which is your hell state, your animal nature, your physical nature. They want you to identify as the physical body. They don't want you to reach these higher states of consciousness. Okay? Now, in the brain, you have 12 convolutions. Now, this is what they were symbolizing in the Bible with the 12 disciples. And obviously in the Bible, it says the upper room where Jesus met with his disciples. This is heaven, the brain, the higher states of consciousness. Now, this is your North Pole. This is Jacob's ladder. Okay? This is why you have 33 levels of Freemasonry, because it's symbolizing the 33 vertebrae, which are these little things here on the back of your spine. Because once the Kundalini energy from the bottom of your spine rises to the top, this is when you get enlightenment and opens your third eye. Spiritual enlightenment. As you can see here, this is Jacob's ladder. This is the Kundalini symbol, right? And they're even showing you this in the medical symbol. They're putting it in your face. But the serpents are wrapped around the spine. Now the serpents symbolize how the energy moves around the spine, because it's a Taurus field, you see? At the center of the Taurus field, it wraps around the center pole. It wraps around it, and this is how the energy moves up. So they're symbolizing it with the serpents. Okay? Now, every religion has a sacred river. For the Egyptians, it's the River Nile. For Christianity, it's the Jordan River, right? This river is the canal, the energy canal at the center of your spine, all the way leading to heaven, to the Holy Land. This is the chamber which the energy rises up, right? Now, they used to say the gods descended from heaven to man. This is just heaven. This is the mind state. And they said the gods were connected by a rainbow bridge. That's the chakra system, the rainbow bridge. Okay, now the ancients called this place Midgard, Earth, where both evil and good live, right? Midgard. But you can go to heaven, which is a pure mind state, because once you're in heaven, nothing negative can ever bother you. That's completeness. Pure Christ consciousness. Now this is why Jesus dies at 33. He didn't actually die, but it's symbolizing the death of the physical body. Not the death of the physical body, but his consciousness rising above the physical body to, as I said here, matter to spirit. Matter died off and he came spirit consciousness. This is symbolized by the 33 vertebrae, which is obviously the 33 levels of Freemasonry. And now the pineal gland, which is at the very top of this Jacob's ladder, or the River Jordan, the canal, your 33 vertebrae on your spine. This is where the pineal gland sits, right? At the very top, at the center of your brain. Now, there's multiple ways this was symbolized. The Eye of Ra, which is used by the Egyptians. Now, this pineal gland is the seat of consciousness. This is where your consciousness is stored, right? And the ancient Sumerians used the pine cone, hence why it's got the word pineal gland, the seat of the soul consciousness. It produces DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is known as the spirit molecule. And the pineal gland is wrapped in microcrystals, and we all know crystals transfer frequency and energy. Now, radios use crystals. A radio is a frequency transmitter, turning a frequency into a frequency that we can hear with our ears, right? Because all the radios are actually playing right now in your ears. However, our ears can't pick it up, so the radio transmits it into a frequency that we can hear using crystals. So this is the power of crystals, and this is what our third eye is wrapped in, crystals. Now, this third eye is not actually your third eye, it's your first eye. When you're being materialized in your mother's womb, this is the first gland that is produced, and everything's built around it, because it is the consciousness. It is your consciousness. Your consciousness never dies, ever. It's an eternal essence. It lives forever. You never actually die. Only the mortal body dies. Now that's what we call life. Life is abided by time, and time is change, and change is what we call life, because everything's constantly moving and transforming into different things, right? Now let's not get off track. The pine cone is obviously, this is in the Vatican here. The pine cone is symbolized as the pineal gland, pine. And this is the opened pine cone. The opened pine cone means, or symbolizes, the awakened man, the awakened third eye. But the ones here, which the Sumerian gods are holding, these are shut pine cones, symbolizing the unawakened man. But let's not get confused, people. These gods were not gods. They are human beings just like you. They reached Christ consciousness. They are nothing more special than you. They just had the ability to reach Christ consciousness. And obviously their knowledge was far more intelligent than ours, far more advanced than ours. They knew the truth about this reality to the depths. Now, the ancient Hindus had a goddess called Kundalini, which is said that she descended by the means of a ladder or a cord from heaven, which is symbolizing the spinal cord. Now, this is what hickory hickory dock, the mouse went up the clock and came back down. This is all these stories, like Santa as well. Santa comes up and then down the chimney. This is symbolizing the Christ oil. There's an oil which is produced in your pineal gland, right? And this oil travels down the spine. And once it's down on the spine, you must have to raise your consciousness, just like I said, with the chakras. You have to raise your consciousness, raise your vibration to heat up this oil and turn it into a gas. And it travels back up the spine through like the serpents up the spine, and this awakens the third eye once it's coming back up the spine and hits the pineal gland. This is the secret behind Santa and hickory hickory dock, because Santa comes down and feeds the presents and goes back up the chimney, and he lives in the North Pole, the positive pole. This is the North Pole, people, and the presence is your sacred oil. This oil, your physical body, is the furnace. It's the spiritual furnace, which you have to heat up this oil by raising your frequency and turning it into a gas to rise up this chamber, the River Jordan, to your third eye, right? Now, this is an alchemical process. Your body is the alchemical furnace. It says in the Bible, if therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be filled with light. I shouldn't have cut that out, but that's what it says. The light of the body is thine eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy eye shall be filled, their body shall be filled with light. This is symbolizing the pineal gland, enlightening the body, the spiritual body, filled with light. Now, as I said, they want you kept down here, which is the root chakra, which is your animal nature, which is obviously mind, matter over mind. This is the symbol of Saturn, right? As you say, we're built of body, mind, and spirit, the Holy Trinity. That is the sun, moon, and earth. The sun's your soul, solar. Moon is your mind. Earth, which is the cross, which is your physical body, the 5 elements, right? So body, mind, and spirit. So the Saturn symbol is actually made out of the cross on top, which is the earth, and the moon on the bottom, which is symbolizing matter over mind, because earth is physical matter. You don't want to be matter over mind. You need to be mind over matter. See, they want you identifying as your physical body. They don't want you to realize you're an eternal consciousness. You're an eternal essence of consciousness which never dies. They want you trapped in your animal nature. And this is why the Baphomet has a goat head, because it's symbolizing your animal nature, which is evil. Not evil, but you're more likely to do evil things, right? Which brings bad karma. That's your animal side. This is why the Baphomet has an animal goat head. As you can see here, he's got the Kundalini energy here. So when you see the inverted cross, the cross is your body, as you can see here. The inverted cross means your chakras downwards, down here. Your head's down here. Your mind is down here. But your mind needs to be up here, which is the upwards cross, which is Christ consciousness. And as we all know, 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 planets, 7 chakras. Red light is low frequency and long range. This is why Saturn is the slowest moving celestial body. And it's the lowest chakra, because it's low frequency, long range. The moon being the crown chakra, which is high frequency. This is why the moon moves around the quickest. The moon is your crown chakra. which mirrored in mind. See, so there are multiple ways of your chakras becoming blocked. Now, each chakra has a specific intelligence. It has a specific thing that it's doing for the body, right? Now, this can be overused. It can be abused. For example, masturbation. That keeps you down here in your sacral chakra because you're abusing the energy center. You're abusing your sexual energy, which is then becoming unbalanced. So this is how energy, this is why these centers are pulling more energy out your electromagnetic field, because these centers are wheels. The chakras just mean spinning wheel of energy. So when you're abusing these certain centers, you're pulling energy out of your electromagnetic field, which is making your field weaker, which is making your frequency lower, which makes you prone to diseases, prone to lower negative energy, right? So you need to align these chakras. You need to unbalance them. And as you can see here, you can screenshot these to see how they're blocked. I'm not going to go over each one because it'll take me forever, but have a little read yourself. This is why they're blocked. Now, the ancients used to say Aum when they meditated. Now, these are the 7 vowels. There's not 5 vowels, there's actually 7. Now, when they say Aum, they're aligning all their chakras by saying this when meditated. This is where the Aum originated from. Now, emotion is energy in motion. So if you're feeling a certain way, that's the energy you've put in motion. It's a reflection. We live in a mirror reality. Everything's mirrored. Everything's mirrored. As within, so without, as above, so below. Everything's a reflection of some sort. So whatever you're feeling, you're doing something wrong. It's telling you you're doing something wrong from the root cause. Because your energies are the effect. You're feeling the effect of something you've caused. The law of cause and effect. Nothing escapes it. Now, the Jehovah's Witness believe that exactly 144,000 faithful Christians go to heaven or be resurrected, right? This is not true. This is symbolic. 144,000 go to heaven. Now, the petals on the chakras, this is the root chakra, this is the crown chakra. Now, if you add up the first 5 chakras, the petals, add up the petals on the first 5 chakras, you get 48. And then you get to the third eye, which has 2 petals. 48 times 2 equals 96. 96 plus 48, which you got from here, equals 144. The last chakra has 1,000 petals. Times 144 times 1,000, you get 144,000. This is a frequency. This frequency is the frequency of the ascension up your chakras. This frequency is a high frequency which turns that oil into gas, which rises up the spine, activating your third eye. Right? So this is all the religions are all symbolic for this sacred secret of Christ consciousness. As it says in the Bible, the kingdom of God is within. It's not out there, people. You must look within yourself. You are God. You are a spark of His consciousness. Infinite consciousness, right? So 144,000 is a frequency, and you must achieve this. Like I said, these people in the past, they're not gods, people. These were just humans. Nothing special. They just reach Christ consciousness. Now, they keep you in these lower vibrational states with the food, right? And as you can see here, all of these fast food restaurants are mainly are red and yellow, which are these lower states, these lower 2 chakras, lower vibrational colors, because they want you trapped down here in matter. And these foods are so low vibrational, they will keep you down here, because your gut produces, I think it's like 80% of melatonin. Melatonin is your feel-good hormone. These foods will not make you feel good. This is very low vibrational. Meat. It's not meat, it's raw flesh.
these animals are stripped from their family, put on a conveyor belt, watch their friends be tortured, and then get slaughtered in a slaughterhouse. Think of all the fear that's running through their blood, all the hormones, all the fear, and you're going to go and eat that very low vibrational energy. As you can see here, this is the light photons within fruit. You can see the light, the life force in this fruit. You must think, feel, and do positive to raise your vibration. As you can see, earth equals heart. If you rearrange it, everything in nature is green, right? The aurora borealis is green. You must align all these chakras and then live from the heart, because the heart's the center of the Taurus field. You must become the consciousness in the center. So that's it for this video, people. Thank you all. God bless.
Welcome people, we're back with another video. I will now be keeping track of my YouTube and trying to upload every week. In this video we'll be talking about the chakras. The chakras are the 7 attributes of God, and they are the 7 planets. These are literally vortex portals within us that connect us to these vices and characteristics of God. Each one of these energy centers are a spinning wheel of energy which controls the cells and organs in that particular area of the body. For example, it's literally a mini brain for that area of the body. Each chakra has a vice which you need to turn to a virtue in order to climb up through the system. They work like a stairway system. You have to go through each chakra in order to unlock the one above. This process is turning matter into spirit, as you descended from spirit to matter. Saturn is Satan, that's why it's the lowest chakra, and that's why the devil is red, because red is the lowest vibrational color. When you are in these lower states of consciousness, you are in your animal nature. This is your physical side of your nature, and you are mainly being driven by your animal instincts, or your ego. Moving back to your higher self or your spirit self is not an easy process, it takes a while. However, with discipline, consistency, and motivation, you can achieve this, and this is what the ancients called Christ consciousness. Once you have achieved this, it is basically a state of mastery of the mind. You no longer lust for the lower animal nature things. Now let's start with the root chakra. This is located at the base of your spine, and you can feel this chakra by tensing your anus. This energy center is in control of your survival needs, your vitality, stability, and security. Now, if this chakra is unbalanced, you will feel insecure, fear, anxiety, unstable, low self-esteem, anemia, over or underweight, and constipation. In order to balance this chakra, you need to feel grounded, embodied, stable, calm, centered, a sense of safety, and trust in yourself and the world around you. The next chakra is the sacral chakra, which is located around the belly button area. You can feel this chakra just by sucking in your belly. This chakra is to do with relationships, self-worth, creativity, empathy, and most importantly, sexuality. This is the most important one in order to start to raise your vibration overall, is giving up the over-sexualized nature. In order to balance this chakra, you need to come into harmony with all the toxic relationships that you have. Get rid of the fear, the anxiety, the isolation, and 100% get rid of the over-sexualized nature. Lust is one of the most lowest vibrations you could possibly feel. It is literally manifesting hell. In order to work on this chakra, you need to feel self-worth. You need to do creative things, empathy, healthy relationships, and 100% being confident. The next chakra is the solar plexus. This is to do with personal power, will, metabolism, eating, happiness, and your self-esteem and self-identification. You can feel this chakra just above your belly, below your ribs, and you can suck in this area. If this chakra is blocked, you will feel lack of confidence, difficulty in manifesting your desires, low self-esteem, misuse of power, misuse of dominance, weak will, and shame in yourself. Biggest one for this chakra is overeating, as it's to do with metabolism. If you are overeating, you are literally unbalancing a lot of your lower chakras, not just the solar plexus. In order to work on this chakra and balance it, you want to have a positive self-identification. You want to feel happy, a happy self-esteem, effectiveness to people, not overeating, and a strong willpower. Now for the heart chakra, one of the most important chakras. Chakra is to do with love, understanding, trust, hope, openness, compassion, balance, and forgiveness. The most important because your heart is the tree of life in the body. It is the center of the toroidal field. It is the most powerful chakra. Your heart is 5,000 times stronger magnetically than your brain. Once you have hit the heart chakra and you start surpassing the heart chakra, you are now turning matter into spirit, as the lower three chakras are dense and physical, and the above the heart chakra are turning to spirit. As you can see already, this is a hard and long process of working on yourself physically and internally. The symptoms of a blocked heart chakra would be lack of love or too much love, difficulty to accepting or giving love, lack of compassion, loneliness, and lack of emotional fulfillment. Finally, a lack of connection with a divine or to nature. In order to balance this chakra, the most important thing and the most powerful thing you can do is loving people, accepting and giving lots of love. Second most important thing to balance the heart chakra is balance. You need a balanced life. You need balance in all aspects of your life. Now for the throat chakra. This is a very important chakra as it's to do with communication. A symptom of this being unbalanced is a lack of self-expression and putting on a front all the time, acting with the ego. In order to balance this chakra, you need to constantly self-express yourself. You can't be putting on a front. That voice inside your head, you have to let it come outward. Don't just block it off with a wall. Self-expression will lead to you gaining friends who actually like you for being you, and not these fake friends that you have to put on an ego for. In order to balance this chakra, you need to express yourself, express the word that's within you. Don't be lying to people, don't deceive or be deceptive. The next chakra is the third eye chakra. This is starting to get very advanced and you are coming very close to spirit. Just before we head on, I want to announce the PDF is now available, containing all the presentations I've ever made, all into a condensed 38-page PDF. The link will be below this video for you to access. And if you want to learn how to create reality using your mind, how to attract your desires, how to get out of the situation you are in, the link will also be there for the Manifestation Mastery course. Now for the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra controls the pineal gland, which is your first eye. It's to do with your psychic abilities, channeling, telepathy, astral travel, visions, and connection to the higher self. You need all of the chakras aligned to get the full potential out of your third eye or pineal gland chakra. For example, if you're astral traveling and you fear something, you will be instantly shot back to your body. So you need to master all of the chakras before you go on and try and do these higher spiritual activities. Symptoms of the third eye chakra being blocked is lack of imagination, lack of vision, lack of concentration, blocked or clouded intuition, can't see the big picture, and especially overly reliant on logic and intellectual thinking. A good way to work on this chakra is imagining things, vision things, trust your intuition at all times, always follow that inner voice. Cut out the tap water which contains fluoride. Fluoride blocks the pineal gland. and cut out all junk food, because all of this is affecting your pineal gland. When in meditation, you want to focus your eyes and your attention to the center of your head between the two eyebrows. This is where the pineal gland is located. This will help and awaken the pineal gland over time when you keep doing these meditations. Finally, for the crown chakra, this is to do with universal consciousness, all-knowing, enlightenment, cosmic connections, the God source. This chakra is blocked by being cut off from spirituality, plagued by the senses, being tricked into the five senses and being tricked into thinking you are the body. In order to work on this chakra, you need to feel grounded. You need to know yourself, your real self, the voice within you. Have common sense, have specific decisions that you're making, be very direct. Now we've got out of the way all of the chakras, I can now introduce methods and meditations which will help you unblock them spiritually. When meditating, you want to get into the present moment in a nice, comfortable position. Bring yourself to the present moment by saying, I am here right now, nothing else matters. Keep repeating this over and over with your eyes open or closed. After a couple minutes of bringing your attention to the present moment, you can now start to breathe in through the nose deeply and breathe out through the mouth slower than you breathed in. Place your attention on the chakra that you want to balance. Think of a high vibrational emotion like love, and think of this while placing your attention on that chakra. You can do this exercise every day for 10 to 20 to 30 minutes. The longer the better.
Another practice you can do is by chanting the Bijis for each chakra. They are here starting from the root chakra all the way to the crown chakra. Or you can chant the 7 vowels. There are not 5, there are actually 7. A, I, A, O, U, M. A, I, O. This is the proper way of pronouncing the 7 vowels. These are so powerful because these are the only things that exist. It is literally the sound of God. By pronouncing them right, you can actually create a lot of power within you and align your chakras. That's it for this video, people. I'd appreciate a comment and a like to help the algorithm. I appreciate you all. Love and light.
How are we all doing, people? It's Revival of Wisdom from the Wisdom Academy. Today we're going to be breaking down God, consciousness, and the higher and the lower self, and how to overcome the lower self. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that you are the invisible intelligence within the brain, within the body. This invisible intelligence is known as the mind. But you are not the mind. You are the observer of the mind, which is the soul, the invisible entity. The mind is your intellect, your intelligence. Now, the mind is, it's hard to put this in words, but the mind is something that gives you the ability to explore the universe. And this inner self is the I am. It's the quiet, the inner self, the voice you see in you hear in your head. This is why within spells high twin, inside, internal. The I is also the number 1, which is one line. Because the one and only, is the inner self, which is the I am. This is why you say, my name is Harry. You are not Harry, you are the I, the inner self, the intelligence. Okay, this is why Jesus in French is I am. You look with the two eyes and you see with the inner eye and eye, the same thing. Okay, because the eye inside is what gives you the perception of what you're looking at. So when someone's trying to explain something and then you catch on saying, I see now, it's because you're seeing with your inner eye, the one that gives you perception, gives you intelligence, gives you the ability to understand things. This is the internal eye, the invisible self, which the physical body is nowhere near as complicated as this inner self. It's in infinite potential. God, G-O-D, generator, operator, destroyer, soul, mind, and body. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the Father, the Holy Spirit, and the Son. They're all... the reason why you see God is always a triad is because it represents yourself. Your invisible intelligence is God. Me and you are the same invisible intelligence. We are the invisible intelligence experiencing the program being run by the central nervous system and the brain. I always say this in my videos, but I have to, in order for you to understand the things that I'm going to say later on in the video, you need to understand this concept, is that you are the consciousness experiencing the nervous system, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is you here. You would be in this invisible intelligence right here in the center of the brain. Now, this is why the ancient Christians show God is in the brain. This is the brain stem. This is the brain. This is also the brain stem and the brain. The brain stem and the brain. It's all depictions of the brain, because the brain's the computer, the electromagnetic computer, which decodes the demands created by the invisible intelligence, the I, the inner self, you, your true self. The person if you observe what someone moving, this is going to sound, but if you observe someone walking, it's not the body. The body is moving, but the thing telling it to move is the invisible intelligence. Before you kick a football, a decision is made within your invisible intelligence, your mind. And this consciousness, this invisible intelligence, is either stuck between the lower self and the higher self. Okay? When the invisible intelligence, meaning the true self, identifies itself with the physical body, it will trap its mind within physicality. This consciousness that we have is either operating in the lower self or the higher self. It's either feeding the material body or it's feeding the spirit. Okay? But because we are physical and spiritual, we need to be even. We don't want to be meditating all day long, because we do have a physical body as well whilst we are here. We are playing a game in physical matter. Okay? Now, the reason that you incarnated here is to learn a lesson, because the mind can manifest anything it wants within the astral planes, within the world of imagination. It can manifest anything it likes, but it incarnates into matter, into this game, so we can understand labor, because anything in matter you have to labor to manifest. But in the astral, you can manifest at the click of a finger. You come here to learn the knowledge of good and evil. And your consciousness, I came out a bit off topic there, but your consciousness is experiencing the lower or higher self. The lower self is manifested in the lower parts of the body. Sex, food, and power, the lower three energy centers. These centers are like mini brains. You are literally thinking with these centers. And when your mind is stuck within these lower centers, you'll think, have you ever heard the term of thinking with your penis, or thinking with your, you know what, as a man? Even females maybe, but mainly this is a boy saying, you're thinking with your penis. This is a truth. It's truth in plain sight. You think with these energy centers. When you're living off the lower three centers, all you care about is sex, food, and power. Eating, sleeping, and greed. Power's kind of like greed. Now, when we move up to the higher parts of the body, when we live our life within the higher parts of the body, this is considered heaven. Love, expression, intuition, and wisdom. This is what we need to be aiming to do, moving out of the lower half of the body and living our life within the higher self, the higher parts of the body, thinking with the higher energy centers, thinking with love, expression, intuition, and wisdom, spreading love, expression, intuition, and wisdom to others. Heaven is even. This is why Jesus is pointing at the heart chakra, always pointing at the heart. Earth rearranged his heart, because in earth you're manifested as a physical being. You're in the heart, good and bad. You need to be balanced between the good and bad. Because love can be a demon too. That's a whole nother video, but love can be a demon. Now the seven chakras are known as the seven seals in the Bible. When the Lamb opened the seventh seal, there was silence in the heaven for about half an hour. This is a verse from the Bible. The Lamb is Aries, which is the higher brain, the cerebrum, Ram, Aries. Because when the Ram opens the seven seals, you enter the kingdom of heaven. Because these chakras seal your invisible intelligence. They seal your true self. You are behind these seven seals, your true invisible self, your true consciousness. Because behind these seven seals, you do not think about anything materialistic. Your intelligence is not material. It's not physical. It's not from the physical world. It does not desire the physical world. The body is the beast. The body's the animal, the lower self, which can corrupt our intelligence. It can corrupt the intelligence. Okay? Now, we need to balance these chakras so that we gain a deeper connection between this intelligence and the brain. Because when there's a strong connection between the brain and the intelligence, your body and the intelligence, you have a strong connection. Therefore, you can manifest what the intelligence is saying at all times. Meaning, when, for example, your higher self, this is intelligence, the higher intelligence is always speaking to you. It's always guiding you. It's always telling you the right thing to do. You can feel it. When you're doing something wrong, you can feel that you're doing something wrong. Because this higher self, this intelligence knows what it needs to do here. And when there's no connection between the body and this our intelligence, our true self, when we strip away, when you close your eyes for long periods of time, you will figure out you are this invisible, infinite, creative being. There's no words that I can't describe what it is. But it's the voice inside of your head that you can feel when you close your eyes. You are this being inside of the head, heaven, because this is heaven, this intelligence. And when there's a strong connection between the body, you can manifest everything it's saying. When everything is balanced, when you're no longer thinking with the lower centers, when they're all balanced, you're not thinking in particular with every center, you balance them all, you can manifest everything it says. Your body will act out what the intelligence is always saying. This is God in the brain, the intelligence, trying to touch Adam, representing the lower self. This is why they're not touching. Notice how Adam is resting, but the intelligence is always reaching out, stretching, symbolizing metaphorically saying it's guiding. I'm always reaching out. The intelligence, your intelligence is always guiding you. It's always reaching out to you. But Adam is ignorant of it. The lower self is ignorant of it. And that's why he's so relaxed and God is so stretching out. Because at our highest self, that when you think of when you want to better your life, that highest true version of yourself is God. When you're manifesting this, your highest self, this is God. Your truest form, your most perfect form, that is God. Your highest version of yourself, that is God. Emotions are not what you've been taught. Emotions are not something that should be reactive, okay? You should not let the emotion be you, except that you should experience them instead of letting them become you. You need to understand there's a separation in our consciousness. You have the soul, which is the person who is observing your thoughts. When you think a thought, who's the one observing that thought? The soul, you, the I am, the I, the inner self, the one and only. And inside of every single body, inside of me, inside of you watching this video, there is this same intelligence that is inside of me, inside of you, and it's the exact same intelligence, experiencing a different body. And this is what we mean by the universe is mental. We are all sharing the same ball of consciousness in a different body. The animals, the fish, the cells, all expressing this one consciousness. Me and you are the same. This is why the golden rule is treat others like others should be treated, because I am you and you are me in a different body. Now, going back, you need to identify that there's different levels of consciousness: soul, mind, emotion, and body. Okay? Your emotions are on a separate layer than the body, the mind, and the soul. So when you identify there's a difference between all of these, you do not let them become you. You do not let your mind rule you, because your mind can be corrupted. Your soul is the one that is pure good, pure love, but your mind can be corrupted. Okay? Your emotions can be corrupted. The body can be corrupted, but the soul can never be corrupted, only layered on top. You can only throw piles of programs within the subconscious, layering the soul down, but deep down inside of every single one of you, there is a loving being. Because love comes from the heart. Love is the universal emotion, expression. Now, your thoughts can become bondage, your emotions can become bondage. Now, what do I mean by bondage? By conquering the lower self, we need to conquer our own mind, because the mind is what's manifesting the lower self. When you're thinking with the lower half of the body, when you're becoming your emotions, you need to experience the emotion, not become the emotion. Do not let the emotion become you. Do not let your thoughts become you, because your thoughts are tools that you can manifest. Your thoughts are the idea. Your emotion is the energy that you can use to manifest that thought. Your emotion is energy in motion, emotion. You use emotion to manifest, to feel as if you already have the thought. Therefore, you become that vibration. Therefore, your emotions are actually a creational force that is given to you to manifest things, because you're a human, a manifester. You're here to manifest things. You're a creator. You are a god. Your inner self, your intelligence, your I am, the one and only, the inner self, the quiet one, the one that's deep, deep down, the invisible intelligence, is it's creating things all the time. All the time. Speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. This is the astronauts, they're Freemasons, but they understand this because thinking, seeing, and hearing can corrupt your mind. And when you have a corrupted mind, you'll have a corrupted subconscious. The subconscious will manifest into the body because 90% of your behavior comes from the subconscious mind. So you got to speak, see, and hear no evil. A sin, what is a sin? To overcome our lower self, to overcome our lower self, the 7 deadly sins are not something that goes against an external God. A sin is something that goes against your inner guide, your inner conscience, the inner self that is always speaking to you. It's always telling you the right thing to do. A sin is something that goes against this inner guide. And this is why you can feel something where you can feel you're doing something wrong. Because the inner guide is speaking constantly. And when you commit these 7 deadly sins, which are 7 internal states which keep your invisible intelligence bound to your physical body. Because evil, right? Evil love bondage. This is why they stay in this realm and they control this realm, because they love the bondage of the body. They like matter. They want to stay in matter for eternal life. They don't want to ascend back into the heavenly realms where you do not have a physical body. You can explore the universe within the astral planes. They stay bounded to the body, bounded to the 3D construct of the physical world. They have greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth, pride. They want all of this. And if you want that, that's okay. But deep, deep down, you don't want that because your soul is always telling you the right thing to do. Your soul knows what to do to get out of here. It needs to detach from the external world. Detach from all of these 7 internal states which bound you to your lower self, your lower centers. That's what a sin is. You know, you have a left and right brain. The left brain is always analytic. The right brain is metaphorical. So the right brain is producing a holistic view of reality. Now, what do I mean? And not view, perception. When you see, because your eyes are parts of the brain, when you look at something and you look, that image is produced in the back of the brain in the visual cortex. And then the right brain produces a perception, a holistic, it breaks down what you're seeing into a holistic image, a holistic perception. So for example, if you're in a woods, the right brain sees the whole woods as one big woods. The left brain is breaking that perception down into individual trees, branches, and leaves. So the left brain's to do with duality. The right brain's to do with wholeness, unified. The left brain's dualistic, analytic. This is necessary so that we can pick things up and manipulate them and break things down. We need the left brain. We need the right brain. I'm not saying any of them's bad, but the left brain, sinister in Latin, means left. Because when you're left-brained, you see everything in dualistic. You see everything is dual, when everything's actually one. We need to be focusing and strengthening our right hemisphere. I'm not saying sit in the right hemisphere all the time, but we need to be strengthening our right hemisphere. And this is why left is sin and right is right. Because when you focus on the right hemisphere, you see the holistic perception of creation. The right hemisphere sees humanity as one unified consciousness. The left hemisphere sees everyone as individual persons and egos. Because the left hemisphere is dualistic. And this is why the Bible says, cast the net onto the right side of the ship and ye shall find. John 21:6. What does that mean? Cast your energy, cast your perception into the right hemisphere of the brain, and ye shall find unified consciousness. You shall find your higher self, the one and only. If then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Wow. Powerful. What does this mean? Seek the things that are above, where the Christ is seated at the right hand of God. God is your consciousness, your invisible intelligence between the two hemispheres. The right hand of God is the right hemisphere. Seek the things that are above the heart. Love, intuition, expression, and wisdom. Seek the things that are above the heart, the higher self, the higher part of the body. Because when you seek the things of love, expression, intuition, and wisdom, you create a strong aura. You attract the same frequency. And this frequency is heaven, God. This is the Sumerian artwork showing the lamb. This is a step symbolizing stepping upwards, raising up. He's stepping over the lamb up to the bird. His hand is going to the bird. The lamb symbolizes the lower self. Okay? The bird with the wings is in the sky. It represents the higher self. This is why angels always have wings, because it represents the higher self in the sky. The lamb is a ground animal, symbolizing the lower self. He's stepping over the lamb to the bird, his higher self, his invisible intelligence. Horus and Set, Jesus and Satan. Look, Horus has an evil brother, Set, just like Jesus and Satan. Horus is a bird, higher self. Set is a ground animal, lower self, which is the devil and the angel on your shoulder. You see? The right and the left hemisphere. The two wings. So, the devil and angels always speaking to you. The higher and the lower self. It's the battle between the higher and the lower self. Between the invisible intelligence and the physical body, because the body's the one that wants the sugar, it wants the pleasure, it wants the sex, it wants the porn, it wants all of the materialistic things, it wants the 7 deadly things. Okay, it wants this. There's a battle between the higher and the lower self, your intelligence and the body. This is why you need to become balanced, so that there's a deep connection between the body and the invisible intelligence, the I am. You need to master your mind with discipline, and you gain a connection between the brain, the body and the intelligence. Resurrection, transmuting sexual energy. Okay, this is important. Res is Resh, which is Hebrew. The early Hebrew Resh symbol is the head. This is the head. Resh, erection. Erection is a sexual stimulation. Resurrection is rise erection. You got to raise your sexual energy up the base from the spine to the head. This is the Christ, the Christos. There's a psychophysical germ, psychophysical oil produced in the brain every month. Go and watch my other video on raising the chrism. Okay? And every month there's this fluid produced in the brain, which takes 2 trips, because one's produced by the pituitary, one's produced by the pineal, magnetic female, magnetic and electric charge. And it takes 2 trips down the spine to the solar plexus, the bread of life in the Bible, or Bethlehem in the Bible, because the River Jordan's your spine. It goes down to Bethlehem. It gets born in Bethlehem, just like Jesus. because when this oil travels to the solar plexus, it creates the seed of life, and it feeds the body, all the central nervous system, all the cells. It regulates the blood, does all sorts of good things for the body, this oil. Now when you save your sexual energy and you raise your resurrection, you awake the Christ, you raise it from the solar plexus or the sacrum bone up to the brain, you activate 100% of the brain, and this is the true resurrection of Christ. Instead of wasting the energy and giving away your sexual fluids, because behind the fluids is the energy. So when you release that fluid, the energy is out there. You've released the energy. Your sexual energy is the most potent emotional force a human could possibly feel. Same with any animal or anything. The sexual urge, the sexual emotion is the most powerful, potent emotion that you can feel. It takes over the whole body. When you feel sexually aroused, it takes over everything because it's so potent. And when you fight the serpent, when you fight the sexual energy, which is shown here in the Egyptians, the cat cutting off the head of the serpent, or Hercules fighting the serpent, or in the Greek mythology fighting the seven-headed dragon, the seven chakras. The serpent is your sexual energy because it symbolizes your Kundalini. When you fight it and you transmute this energy, instead of releasing it, instead of acting sexually on it, you can transmute the energy, transfer it from the solar plexus up to the brain. You can also do this with other tasks. Instead of releasing it, instead of raising it from the solar plexus to the brain, you can use it for other things. So for example, you want to think critically. You can use it for critical thinking. You can use it for going to do exercise. You can transmute sexual energy into anything. But you can do this, you can raise the sexual energy, and you can use this energy to push the cerebrospinal fluid from the solar plexus up through the spine, up the 33 vertebrae to the brain, and it'll activate 100% of the brain. And this is the resurrection of Christ. Jesus was never dead. Jesus was never rose from the dead. It symbolizes the Christ, Jesus Christ. Christ is Christos, which means oil in Greek. The resurrection of the Christ, the Christos, the oil. When it activates 100% of the brain when it's raised, and it can regulate all the systems, it can regulate all the blood, it can regenerate the body. And this is the true Antichrist. They don't want us doing this process. The Antichrist is not against Jesus, it's against the fluid in our body that makes us live hundreds and hundreds of years and makes us live as gods. This is the true resurrection. And when you fight the serpent, you fight your sexual urges, your sexual emotion, the most strong emotion that you could ever feel. You can do this process. And this is the true secret of transmuting sexual energy. Because when you transmute the sexual energy, you can become a god. And this is why Hercules is fighting the serpent. Notice how the serpent is low. He's reaching down to it. It represents the lower self. Because the lower self desires sex. There's a fight between the higher and the lower self. But when there's balance, there's even. Heaven is even. When there's evenness between these, this is the kingdom of heaven. This is when heaven is on earth. So at our highest levels of ourselves, the highest level of our intelligence, this is God. God is something that we manifest. We need to achieve Christ consciousness by battling the body. There is no battle outside of the physical body. It's an internal battle. Jesus and Satan have been externalized. Nothing exists outside of you, because I explained in the beginning how you are the consciousness experiencing the central nervous system. Therefore, there is nothing outside of you. It's all internal. Jesus and Satan have been externalized. Why? Because it's business. The church is a business. It's all a business. They've created these figures to be historical when they're not historical. The Bible's not historical. It's all externalized. It's called exoteric, when the truth is esoteric, internal teachings. So anyways, people, balance the chakras, balance the two hemispheres of the brain, balance the conscious and the subconscious. Balance is perfect, the yin and yang. You are spiritual and physical. You live in day and night. You need to be balanced. Oneness. Seek oneness. And this is the true kingdom of heaven. And when we all realize that we are all the same intelligence, the same consciousness expressed in different bodies, when we all realize this, we all realize we're all one. Doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what race you are, where you're from, your nationality, because none of you are actually from here. None of you are from the physical world. You're manipulating the physical world through the physical body. You are the I am. We all have a soul. Every single one of you has a soul. We all have souls. The reason why they say some people don't have souls is because they're trying to suppress your mind. They don't want you to know that you have a mind. That sounds crazy, I know. But a lot of people haven't realized that they have an infinite intelligence called a mind. And behind that mind, if you can observe your thoughts, the person who is observing the thoughts, you have a soul. Everyone has a soul. Don't listen to all these people saying some people don't have a soul, some people do. We all have a soul. Every single one of us. So anyway, you need to break the lower nature of yourself. At our highest levels, we are gods. Our intelligence, our universal intelligence, the I am, the intelligence that's inside of the brain, is God. Our minds are being corrupted within believing that you are the body, and the result of this is a society like today, because everyone thinks they're the body, and everyone's living in the lower nature of self, where everyone only cares about themselves. But when we realize we're all one big consciousness ball, we're all the same consciousness expressed in different bodies, there will be peace. So thank you all, people. If you do want to learn more, if you do want to read my book, it's called The Book of Wisdom. I'll put it in the description. It's an amazing book, people. It's going to give you the best understanding possible about creation, yourself, and the world. It's amazing. The Bible, everything. I have just launched a new cymatic library. A friend of mine has just added this to the website. He creates beats, and he creates the purest beats, so they are actually the frequency that it tells you. Most of the stuff on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music it says it's a certain frequency, but we know these major platforms are all playing with the frequencies of the app. So if you want a real binaural beats, solfeggio scale frequencies to meditate on or listen to throughout the day, join the Occult Library. You can get a 2-day free trial. I'll put the link in the description. Thank you all, people. Hope you all enjoyed this video. God bless you all.
What is good, people? We're back with another video, and this is going to be talking about the connection between the micro and the macro. You are the universe. Everything is inside of you. So the first thing you need to understand is that the law of mentalism, we are a thought in the creator's mind. Everything's being thought into existence. We have a spark of this mind, this same mind of the creator, and everything is a state of mind. Particles or atoms, whatever you want to call them, are a mental thing. They're a product of the mind. Everything's thought into existence. Thoughts influence everything. Thoughts are energetic effects which send out waves into the quantum field around you. And your consciousness is actually the universe experiencing itself, expressing itself, and viewing itself. So we are the creator, but viewing itself in separate bodies. And this is why we call the material world the world of illusions, because everything's separate here, but we all forget that we're not all one. We've all been brainwashed to think we're all separate, but we're all one. We're all the same mind, the same consciousness, everything. So everything's created out of toroidal fields. God created the toroidal field. That's the only thing that exists, because the atoms are toroidal fields. And it's the basis behind all creation, as you can see it in the owl's eyes. It creates the infinity symbol. And this was the apple. The apple is a toroidal field. And the toroidal field is made out of dielectricity, which is ether. Ether is black light, and this is counter space. This is another realm. This is what creates God to be omnipresent, to be everywhere at one place at all times. He is everywhere, because ether is everywhere. Ether's infinite potential. It connects everything together, and that's what energy moves through. It moves through the ether, and that's black light. Everything is light, as it says in John 4:2. God is light. Everything's a vibrational state of light. So the Taurus field is made out of dielectricity, ether, black light, magnetism, which is white light, which is the center of the toroidal field. And magnetism radiates, it has no vibration. And then when white light splits, it turns into electricity, which is physical material, and that has a vibration. This is the Holy Trinity: the sun, the moon, Saturn. Saturn, the god of materialism. If you've watched my videos on Saturn, you know that Saturn is crystallizing everything into physical matter. And that's why his old name was El. The ancients called him El. And this is why we get L electricity. This is where L electricity comes from. Because L electricity is only a product of the physical world, which is redshift, blueshift, Adam and Eve. And this is what creates the redshift, blueshift is what is a product of magnetism. When magnetism, white light splits, and this gives us vibration. And this what creates the toroidal field, which is the basis of all physical creation. The sine wave is created out of the magnetic wave and the electric wave. The electric wave is the blue wave, and the magnetic wave is the straight wave, which is radiation. This is vibration, frequency. So the magnetic wave is straight, and then you have longitude and amplitude, which is depth, which is dimension. You see how the electric wave has depth and dimension. This is why you get the cross. This is the cross of Earth. This is the symbol of Earth, of bondage, of physical matter, because it consists of magnetic wave and depth, which is electric wave. And this is where you get the sun cross or the earth cross, whatever you want to call it. It's the cross of physical matter, and the ancients knew this. This is why they used that symbol. Redshift, blueshift, which is the toroidal field, is the basis of all creation, physical creation. And this is why you have the police siren is red and blue. The Matrix movie, red pill, blue pill. You have red blood and blue blood in your body. The Democrat and Republic, the two parties, red and blue. Like your taps, on your taps, you have a red and blue tap. One's generative, one's destruction. Fire, destruction, water, generative. So this is the basis of all things. And electric wave has dimension, like I've already said, depth, material, and it's measured in hertz. It's measured in hertz because it hurts you, it decays, because the electric wave has a vibration, and vibration always has to go back to a standstill point. This wave cannot go forever, but the magnetic wave will go forever. It's radiation. Magnetic is radiation. It radiates forever, it pulses, but the electric wave will at some point come back to a standstill point. And that's why it hurts, it decays. That's why our physical body decays, because we contain of electricity. This body is an electric body, and it will return back to stillness like a guitar string. If you vibrate a guitar string, you pull it, it will vibrate, make a sound, and then go back to a standstill point. It's the exact same with every single toroidal field within the body. It will decay, and this is why our bodies decay, and everything in creation decays. So we're born into sin. The sin of Eve. The sin of Eve is us biting into the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is the systems in the body. And the sin of Eve is biting into the sine wave. We bit into the sine wave. The sun moves in a sine wave. Our DNA is a sine wave. Time is a sine wave. Everything in this creation is a sine wave. This is why the dollar bill is a sine wave. Magnetism and electric waves in one. And this is the sun doing its sine wave, which creates, when you go bowling, it kind of creates that pin that you hit over. That's the pin of the sun. The zodiac sign is a sine wave because the zodiac sign is an expression of the toroidal field. Because magnetism unfolds into 12ness. And that's why you have 12 zodiac signs, 12 systems in your body, 12 cranial nerves in your head, in your brain. So if you can imagine this, see where my pointer is. Always starts with Aries. Aries is the head. It's the first thing that's created in the womb. And this is Aries, the ram. And this is why it's called a cerebrum in your brain, which is the first thing that creates when you're in the womb. And what's the element of Aries is fire. Fire is the first element. F-I-R, first, because it's the first thing on the wheel, the first expression of energy. As you can see here, my pointer, this is the center of the toroidal field. It would go Aries, Virgo, Capricorn, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Then we go back to Libra. Libra would be center. But you see how the toroidal field is the expression of the 12 energies. That's what the constellations are, the energy expressions of the toroidal field. So it would go outward, starting from Aries here, all the way back to Pisces, which is beyond the bottom half. But Libra would be the center. That's why Libra is the equinox. It's the equinox. Libra is when it goes from summer over to autumn. It's the equal. It starts to transition into the winter side. Equinox, equal, which is Libra. And that's why Libra has the two scales. It's symbolized with the two scales. That's because of, the sun moving over. It's being judged. It's equal now, but then it's going to tip over into the winter. That's why Libra is here, the center of the sine wave. And like I said before, magnetic energy unfolds into 12ness. Magnesium is number 12 on the periodic table. It's the sacred number. And this is why the scientists are NASA is trying to bring in another constellation to destroy the holy science of astrology. So Aries rules the head, which is Mars. Taurus rules the neck, the lower head. Gemini, the two twins, which is your lungs, your two twins, your arms, two twins. Cancer, the breasts, or the chest area. Leo, the heart, which is the sun, which is fire, the center of the toroidal field. Virgo, the belly, which is the intestines. Libra, the kidneys, the two scales, the kidneys, balancing out everything. Scorpio, the sex organs. Sagittarius, hips and thighs. Capricorn, I've missed that out, which is the kneecaps. Capricorn, kneecap. Aries, which is the ram, which is the cerebrum in your brain. And then Aquarius, the calves and the ankles. And the Pisces, the two fish, the 2 feet. So everything corresponds, as you can see here. This is an ancient way of depicting it, of the folded human. And this is everything. Each constellation rules that part of the body, gives energy to that part of the body, makes you do certain things. So magnetic energy unfolds into 12ness, electricity unfolds into 7s. That's why when you get electric, the light spectrum that we see, it consists of 7 colors. Why we have 7 planets. The 7 planets give us our 7 metals and the 7 solfeggio scale frequencies. So the rotor, this is the rotor. And rotor is an anagram for Torah. The Torah, which is I think it's the Hebrew Bible. Don't quote me on that, but it's one of the holy books. Which is the Torah, the Taurus. Everything goes back to the Taurus field because it's the basis of all creation. So the chief cornerstone, it says in the Bible that the builders rejected the chief cornerstone. The chief cornerstone, you are the builder. You decided to incarnate into the physical world, into the electric world, the world of Saturn. When you are created in the womb, it takes you 9 months for you to be created. So for example, if your parents, if you went into the womb here, it'd take you 9 months. So let's say you're born in Scorpio. So you'd go back 9 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You consist of all of these 9 energies because it takes 9 months or however long you took to be born. Some people are born earlier. You'd have to find out how many months you were in the womb for. But you consist of these 9 energies, and each constellation has a cell salt associated with it. And these cell salts are vital for your health, and your cells and the optimal health of your body. So the chief cornerstone that you rejected is these 3 cell salts, these 3 constellations. So you're mineral deficient in these 3 constellations. For example, fluoride, magnesium, phosphate, and potassium sulfate. So that's the chief cornerstone. And a cornerstone, people always get it rejected with the cornerstone. The cornerstone is not, it doesn't say the cornerstone in the Bible, it says the chief cornerstone. The cornerstone is a cornerstone of a building, but a chief cornerstone is the top of the pyramid. This is where we get the pyramid of the wheel. So you're mineral deficient in whatever 3 zodiac signs you were not in the womb for. This is the chief cornerstone you rejected. So the human body is the micro, it is the universe in a physical form. It consists of everything in the universe. Just like your consciousness is the universe watching itself, experiencing itself. Your body is the whole universe. 12 systems in the body, 12 zodiac signs, 7 chakras are the 7 planets. The Holy Trinity of you is your Temple of Solomon, the soul and the mind, the sun and the moon. You know, everything is in you. You consist of everything, all the energies, everything. Heaven and hell. Heaven and hell is a mind state. It's a state of the mind. Head, H-E-A, which is heaven, and the heel, the bottom of your foot, is hell. And the bottom of your foot is the soul. So they're basically saying, well, it's wordplay. They're saying that your soul is in hell because, you know, with the elites being in control. So they call the bottom of your foot the soul, trying to say that you're in hell. The Christ is in you. And this Christ is Greek for what? Christos. And Christos is Greek for the oil. And this oil is produced in the cerebrum, the Aries, the ram, the cerebrum, it goes down the pineal. Well, the pineal and the pituitary are underneath the cerebrum. Goes down the pingala and the ida. The pingala being the positive charge connected to the pineal gland, pin, and the ida connected to the pituitary. And this is the 2 serpents going down the spinal column. And this is why Jesus goes from Nazareth to Bethlehem, and then Joseph and Mary are waiting for Jesus in Nazareth. Joseph and Mary are the pineal and the pituitary gland waiting for Jesus to come back up the River Jordan, your spinal column. So this is the oil. This is the story of Santa as well. Santa comes from the North Pole. Why? Because the North Pole of the Earth is the center of the toroidal field, and the North Pole of you is your spinal column, which is the North Pole of the toroidal field. The North Pole, he comes from the North Pole. This is the North Pole. This is the South Pole of the toroidal field. Comes from the North Pole, which is your mind. And he goes down the chimney and then back up the chimney. This is the chimney. And he drops off the present, which is the Christos, the oil. And this is why Jesus is crucified at 33, because he crosses over the vagus nerve at the top of your spine. When this oil comes back up the 33 vertebrae, these are your vertebrae here. When it goes up to the 33 vertebrae, it gets crucified at 33 because it crosses the vagus nerve, and he's crucified on the cross at 33. This is the story behind Jesus and Santa. The Ark of the Covenant in the Bible is the 2 hemispheres which cover the vital parts of your mind, the brain side, which is the cerebrum, the pineal, the pituitaries, etc. So the 2 hemispheres are the 2 angels, the Ark of the Covenant. This is the Ark of the Covenant, covering the 2 vital parts of your brain. So these are the optic thalamus is another part, and it protects the Christ oil, which is inside at the center of the brain. See, the Bible is all a massive metaphor about yourself, because you are the universe. You are a microcosm of the universe. Your consciousness is experiencing itself, and the universe experiencing, and your body is the whole universe. Your head's heaven. So Moses crosses the Red Sea. These are the 2 hemispheres of your brain. This is the corpus callosum, the Red Sea. So he's pretty much saying that he's uniting the 2 hemispheres of your brain, because most people in this generation are stuck in the left brain, which is just logic, reasoning, science and maths, writing, You know, this is what school teaches you to do. It keeps you stuck in your left brain. And you want to cross over to you want to cross the Red Sea, which is the corpus callosum, to the right brain, which is awareness, art awareness, creativity, imagination, intuition, insight, you know, using the higher mind, creativity, imagination. If you don't have intuition, then you can't read energy, you can't pick up on bad things. This is what Moses is symbolizing by crossing the Red Sea. And it's also the upper room where Jesus met the 12 disciples. 12 disciples are the 12 cranial nerves in your brain. It doesn't just represent the 12 zodiac signs. The 12 disciples symbolizes many different things. It's like I said, energy the universe consists of 12ness. So you have 12 cranial nerves in your brain. And that's the 12 disciples as well. And they want you stuck in your left brain, which is the five senses, materialism. So they say in the Bible that Satan blinds the mind. Satan is Saturn. If you've watched my videos, Satan is Saturn. And you consist of the Holy Trinity, which is the sun, moon, and earth. The soul, moon, the soul being your sun, the solar, the moon being your mind, the earth, your physical body. And Satan blinds the mind. Why? Because we enter a soul system. This is a soul system, not a solar system. And Saturn is the Lord of the Rings, which is the outer ring. When your soul enters the soul system, your soul starts to materialize. It hits Saturn. Why? Because Saturn starts to materialize you. You take on the 7 virtues, which are the 7 planets, which are your 7 chakras. And to get out of this soul system, you must get out of your lower nature, your animal nature, which is lust, desire, greed. You know, the number of the beast, 666, which is Saturn, Satan. So you enter the soul system, you take on the 7 energies, which you turn into physical matter. And this is your descension from heaven to, well, to say hell. And then you must raise back up from matter to spirit. They say Satan blinds the mind. Why? Because your mind gets materialized. Your soul and mind get materialized. And when you get materialized, it's an intense experience. You lose the divinity within you. You forget the divinity. So Satan, which is the first planet, the first energy you take on, the material body, he blinds the mind. He makes you forget everything, your divinity. Then you must remember, ascend up Jacob's ladder, the 33 vertebrae, to heaven. And this is a microcosm of the macro, because you will ascend back up to heaven if you do this, when you leave your physical body, when your body decays. So when it talks about in the Bible, completely destroy them, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, all the ites, this is what God says to the Israelites. It says completely destroy them. It's basically symbolizing saying destroy your lower nature. The Canaanites, cannibals. We're under a Canaanite system now, which is cannibalism. And this is flesh eating, lust, greed, all the demonic stuff, all the lower vibrational stuff, you know, the lower nature, eating, sex, and survival, the lower 3 chakras. You must get out of these lower 3 chakras and return back to spirit, which is heaven, which is spirit, love, being holy, being truthful, being passionate, going back to Satan blinding the mind. All of the planets are made out of these 3 symbols. Satan blinds the mind, and that's why Satan's symbol, this is the symbol for Saturn, Satan, the symbol for Saturn is the cross, which is physical matter, the earth, over the moon is your mind. So the Saturn symbol saying matter over mind, he blinds the mind, Satan blinds the mind once you enter the soul system. And you must remember, in the Bible it talks about the Genesis, which is Eve, the sin of Eve, which is biting of the tree of knowledge, with the serpent which wraps around the tree. It says the serpent placed himself on the tree. Well, the serpent is the spinal column. It's the serpent telling you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is your nervous system. And eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil is doing bad things. For example, over-sexualized, overeating, eating the wrong food. That's eating from your nervous system. It's decaying you, and it's preventing you from achieving the God self, the God consciousness. This is the symbolism of, you know, the tree on the serpent. telling you to eat from the left brain, with the left brain being the sinister. Sinister is Latin for left. That's sin. Sin is left. And left is lefty loosey, Lucifer, right, righteousness, right, God, godly. The tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is your nervous system, because it determines good or bad. You know, that's the only thing you experience in this world is your nervous system. And then the tree of life is the cardiovascular system, and the Garden of Eden is your body. So that's it for this video, people. Hope you've got a greater understanding of how you are the universe and everything is inside of you. Just keep in mind you are the universe experience in itself, and your body is a reflection of everything. The 12 constellations, the 7 planets, everything's inside of you. This world is an expression from the inside outwards. You can't affect the outside world to manipulate reality. Everything's inside of you. I hope you got a greater understanding of this. God bless. What is good, people? It's Revival of Wisdom. I hope you're all doing well. And this video is how to raise your holy oil or your Kundalini. Let's get straight into this. So this is a monthly cycle. Every month, when the moon is in your zodiac sign, this oil is released. Now, the moon is in control of monthly cycles. For women, it's the menstrual cycle, and as well this holy oil cycle. The moon changes sign every 2.5 days and passes through the zodiac signs in 27 days. So the moon tells the day, the sun tells the time, the stars tell the month. This reality is a massive clock, if you like to say. It's a cycle. Okay, the moon controls the night, emotions, water, fluids, and the mind. Okay, so this oil is produced in the claustrum. It's produced in the claustrum, which is here, right? This is where you get Santa Claus from. Now, the claustrum is at the center of the brain, and it is next to the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. Once it starts in the claustrum, this is the holy presence. This is the present and the pineal gland. And what's connected to the pituitary gland and the pineal gland is the Ida and the Pingala. The Pingala is the pineal gland's nerve, which is the honey, which is the positive charge, electric. And the pituitary is the Ida nerve, which is the magnetic charge. This is the milk, the land flowing with milk and honey. This is the brain, the heaven, okay? And it travels down the spine using these two nerves, these electromagnetic charge. And this is what the ancients symbolized with the two serpents wrapped around the spinal cord, the Ida and the Pingala. And this travels down to the sacrum or the solar plexus. Okay, so once it's here, okay, the spine is an elongation of the brain. So the spine is pretty much the brain. It's an extension of it. And it's kind of a microcosm of how we descended from heaven to physical reality, to physical matter, which is our consciousness has done. Our consciousness has descended from heaven into physical matter, and this is a microcosm of it. Okay, so once we're in the sacrum bone, this holy oil, like I've just explained, this holy oil starts in the Santa claustrum, goes down the chimney to the sacrum. This is the sacrum, the solar plexus. and drops the present off at the sacrum. Now, once we're at the sacrum, we need to raise our vibration to take this oil back up the spine. Okay, and the River Jordan symbolizes this in the Bible. King Herod wants to kill Jesus in Nazareth, which is here, this is the River Jordan, is Nazareth. He goes to be born in Bethlehem and then goes back up to Nazareth, to Joseph and Mary. Joseph and Mary, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. The Bible is huge symbolism. It's all metaphors for this sacred process which goes on inside of your body. You are the Temple of Solomon. You are the Holy Land. The Holy Land is your brain. Once this oil is at the sacrum, you need to raise your vibration in order to take it back up. Once this oil has gone back up to the pineal gland, it activates the crystals which are wrapped around your pineal gland. Your pineal gland is this tiny little beam here. This is the claustrum. This is the pineal gland, and it's wrapped in crystals. And when this oil travels back up the spine by raising your vibration, back to the upper room where Jesus met the 12 disciples, or the 12 cranial nerves in the brain, and it activates and it turns on this pineal gland. And once it's turned on, it illuminates all the cells and the nerves in your brain and turns them all on and activates the higher God man, the God consciousness, Christ consciousness. And it regenerates the whole body. This is the secret to regeneration. It regenerates all the cells in the body. And this is how the ancients lived for thousands and thousands of years. As talked about in ancient texts. They lived for hundreds and thousands of years because they knew this secret. And this fluid, this brain fluid, the secretion, or the Christos in Greek, which means gold, because this is the alchemical process from turning lead to gold. Your body is the alchemical furnace. Now the ancients knew about this center of the brain because they symboled it. This is the Eye of Ra, and it's the brain. And this is what's wrapped around our consciousness. Our consciousness isn't wrapped around the brain. The brain is built around the consciousness. We are the consciousness. You don't have a soul, you are the soul. Okay? Now, the head, heaven, hell, heel. Heel at the bottom of your foot, that's hell. Head is heaven. Heaven and hell. Simple. Now, the pineal gland produces DMT, which is dimethyltryptamine, which is known as the spirit molecule. So, let's move on. Now, when this oil travels up, back, the spine, the chimney, it crucifies at the top, which is called the vagus nerve. So when it reaches here, the optic thalamus, it crosses and crucifies once it's raised back up. And this is why Jesus dies at 33. He was crucified at 33. Because you have 33 vertebrae on the back of your spine. And then it's crucified by the cross of the vagus nerve. When this oil crosses the vagus nerve, this is the crucifixion at 33. And it symbolizes the death of the physical consciousness. You then become spirit. You then become God consciousness, activating the Kundalini, regenerating the body and the mind. Okay? The Garden of Eden. You are the Garden of Eden. The land of milk and honey is upstairs. The pituitary, which is the milk, the pineal gland, which is the honey, which is DMT. It even says this in the Bible. As he brought us into the place, and he has given us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey, which is also symbolized as the sun and the moon. The Bible also says, the light of the body is the eye, not the eyes, the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. This is the activation of the pineal gland by raising this oil. back up to the pineal gland, to the center of the brain. Neither shall they say, see that here, or see there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you. So he's saying, don't look out there. Nothing is out there. It's all inside of you. Everything's inside of you. You're the universe. Now, how to raise this oil back up to the pineal gland? Every month, like I said. The moon controls the cycle. The moon controls monthly cycles. When the moon is going into your zodiac sign every month, this oil goes down the spine, and you must raise your frequency to get it back up. You must retain your seed. This is the most important. Your fluid, your secret, your holy fluid, your life force. You can't let that go. That life force is the reason you're alive. This holy oil is the reason you're alive, because it feeds all of the systems in your body. It feeds all the systems in your body. You have to retain your seed. Alkaline diet, positive thinking, and meditation. Okay? When you retain your seed, you will live longer. The moment you release it, you're killing yourself. You're killing a piece of yourself every time you release your seed. Every single time. You're killing a part of yourself. Okay? Now, this could be why this could be the illumination, the single eye on the Illuminati's symbol, the Freemasonic symbol, the illuminated eye, the triangle, which could symbolize the body, mind, and spirit, but the eye illuminated. Now, in the Bible, it talks about the two trees, the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. The tree of knowledge is the tree of good and evil, which is the most important system in your body, which is the nervous system. The nervous system, the most important. The tree of good and evil. And the tree of life, which is the cardiovascular system. Now, this oil, when it's released every month, feeds these two systems, and these two systems feed everything. Now, it's important you understand that. Okay? The ancients knew all of this knowledge. The Bible's telling you this knowledge. But it's in a metaphorical way. You have to understand the context behind it so you can read it properly. Now, eating of the tree of life, which is when it talks about in the Bible, eating from the tree of life is actually symbolizing a bad diet, ejaculation. Because you're eating from these two systems. You're killing yourself with a bad diet. You're killing yourself with an ejaculation. Okay, so that's important to understand. Now, this is Jacob's ladder in the Freemasons. Jacob's ladder, which is the spinal cord, it's the stairway to heaven. And this is Jack and the Beanstalk when he goes up the beanstalk and finds the golden egg in the grey clouds. The grey clouds symbolize the grey matter in your brain. Now, the Garden of Eden talks about the 4 different rivers in Garden of Eden. As we see here, the North Pole map, the ancient North Pole map. Because the center of the earth is the center of the Taurus field. Everything's the Taurus field. Atoms are Taurus fields. Everything's Taurus fields. You are the universe. Everything is within you. The North Pole is your spinal cord. This is why they say Santa Claustrum comes from the North Pole. This is the North Pole. And the Santa Claustrum is the center of your brain. Now, these 4 rivers which come from the Garden of Eden is the blood, the Christ oil, which is the oil we're talking about, urine, and saliva. These are the 4 sacred oil, 4 sacred fluids in your body. And these are constantly abused in today's society. These secret societies are targeting these fluids. Okay? This is why porn is free. They sexualize society through Disney. Go and look at some of the Disney movies. There's so many subliminal messages which sexualize these children because they want you sexualized. So you release your seed, which is one of the holy fluids in your body, especially your semen, your sexual energy. So important you retain this. So important. because it's your life force. It keeps you alive. Okay? Now, let's recap on this. If you want to raise your oil every month, you can't just retain your seed for the month. You have to retain your seed forever. Don't just do it for a couple of days. You have to do it. It's a lifestyle. You want to become God consciousness, you got to do what it takes. It's hard in this society because this society is made around, it's designed to kill you pretty much. It's designed to keep you in these lower states of consciousness with all the bad food, the chemicals in the food, the chemicals in the water, the sexualized TV programs, sexualized adverts, sexualized TikTok and apps, videos, subliminally stimulating you. Because that is your weakness, sex. It's a weakness. Now, you have to, it's low vibrational. This is the color spectrum. And what's the highest vibrational color? Violet. It's the lowest, red. You have to have an alkaline body in order to raise this oil. When you drink, when you have a bad diet, when you drink alcohol, when you smoke, this destroys the oil. It destroys the oil in your sacrum, and it can't be raised again, can't be raised up. This is why it's so important. Without that oil, you don't live. That oil makes you live. It feeds everything in your body. It's crazy how we're not taught this. It's insane. But that is how you raise the oil, people. I hope you all gain some knowledge out of this video. And I hope this assists you on your, and share this video. We need this knowledge out to the public to wake up humanity. Thank you all, people. God bless. What's good, people? We're back with another video. This is going to just be a quick video. Manifestation, magic, bending reality. So let's jump straight into this. So you have a conscious and a subconscious part of your mind. The conscious is what you're conscious of, what you're actually doing, where you can choose or not. Automatic. So all of the systems in your body, like the digestive system, your heartbeat, these are automatically doing it, and this is what the subconscious mind is controlling. It's like the dark aspect of your brain or your mind. It is the way bigger aspect of your mind. Okay, it controls all the systems in your body. Okay, and this is where all of your programs are. So when you're in it from your childhood, what you've learned in school, all of these things. And the female is more about creation, creativity, intuition. So you have a right and a creativity, imagination, intuition, insight. Okay, and this is one of the most important sides of the brain. This side of the brain is the most attacked by the elites, whatever you want to call them. This side is one of the most important, because obviously your intuition is a massive part of reality. And if you don't have intuition, then you lose track of the things around you. You can't consciously feel if things are wrong or right. They don't want you to have intuition or creativity or imagination. They want you in the left side of your brain, which is just reasoning, logic, and basic things. So they just want you to tell you what you want, tell you what to learn, and then that's it. They don't want you thinking for yourself, which is the right side of the brain. So whatever the conscious side of your mind impresses the subconscious side of your mind. So if you do affirmations, for example, if you consciously do affirmations every day, you're reprogramming your subconscious mind. You're impressing a vibration and a word into your subconscious mind, and therefore it will reprogram it. So the male and female aspect are symbolized by the Star of David as well. the male being the upside triangle, the female being the downside, connected all in one, because we both have male and female energy. So every thoughts are electric, which is the male aspect. Emotions are magnetic, which is the female. Each thought creates a wave of vibration in all directions. So think of it like a water drop in a pool, but it going out in every single direction. It's not just flat. And these thoughts have a certain frequency, has a certain vibration. That vibration has a certain frequency. And this affects your aura. Every thought, every emotion directly impacts your aura and the strength of your aura. So if you're angry all the time, your aura in the astral plane will look red. However, if you're happy, it'll be more like blue and green. So it's very important. Your electromagnetic field is created out of your emotions and thoughts. And that affects reality, because you're 60% water, and frequency and vibration create certain patterns and has a certain effect on water, and we'll get into that after this slide. So each thought that people are thinking around you, you are actually subconsciously picking up these thoughts, because it's emitting this vibration in all directions. So this is why you can pick up thoughts of other people on the odd occasion. However, when you're more in tune with your intuition, your right side of your brain, you can start to pick up on vibrations, thoughts, and other people's auras. You can pick up on the energy once your third eye is open, and you know whether you should be in that environment or not. This is what we call an atmosphere. When we go into a room and you can feel the tension, if someone's been arguing, for example, this is the atmosphere, this is the vibrations, these are people's auras emitting these certain frequencies and vibrations. Okay, so our aura is contained of multiple layers. Obviously we have the physical body. This is the electromagnetic layer. However, you have the different planes of existence: the spirit, mental, astral, etheric, and then physical. The physical is the lowest plane of existence, and the physical plane is a product of all of the planes above. So the mental impresses on the astral impresses into the etheric, and then the etheric creates the physical object. So the mind is the root cause of reality. The mind is the cause of everything. Your consciousness is pure cause. There's no effect. Everything you see in this reality is the effect. Everything that you experience is the effect, because the root cause was the mind. The decisions you made you experience that certain experience. And that decision was created on the mental plane. And this is just pure thoughts. And thoughts are things. If it exists in your mind, it is a thing. It's a certain frequency. So if you have a certain level of thoughts, if you're thinking positive, for example, you're going to have a strong aura, you're going to have a higher vibration, and that attracts like. Like attracts like when it comes to thoughts and vibrations and electromagnetism. So if you're thinking positive all the time, speaking positive, doing positive, you're then creating a higher vibration, and that's going to attract people on that similar frequency to you. Everything is electromagnetism, frequency and vibration. Everything. You see, so this is why, for example, if I put my hand to a TV screen, if my finger was the same vibration as the TV screen, it would go straight through it. However, the particles in my hand and the particles on the TV screen are two separate vibrations, and this is what causes the friction to stop, and not my finger to go straight through it. So like I said, when you don't feel the vibe of someone, when you don't feel right, you don't really get along with someone, this is a vibration. Your vibrations are not matching, they're not similar, they're two complete different vibrations, and they're not aligning properly. So music has a massive part on this. music is a massive, massive tool for the elites, because music is frequency. And in 1975, the musical instrument are all tuned to 440 hertz. So Spotify, Apple Music, most of the music on YouTube is all set to 440 hertz. And 440 hertz is not divisible by 3, 6, or 9. And when you can't divide a frequency by 3, 6, or 9, it's not a natural frequency. As you can see here, this is 432 hertz. This makes a nice geometric pattern. However, 440 hertz is a distorted pattern. So when you listen to this, this actually shuts off the whole right side of your brain. Like I said at the start, this is the most attacked side of your brain. It's to do with creativity, imagination, intuition. When you listen to 440 hertz, it shuts off the whole right side of your brain. And obviously shutting off all of these forms of your brain. Music is very, very powerful tool for the elites, because it's the only thing which can enter your soul or your ears without consent, your body without consent. Everything else has to be through consent. You choose whether to eat something, you choose whether to drink something, but frequency, you're going to hear it no matter what. This is why it's so powerful. And music influences the body in many different ways. It's the most powerful imitator of everything. It directly affects all listeners. It directly affects intentions, gestures, movements, and actions. It stimulates your mind, and certain songs, certain catchy songs, can reprogram your subconscious mind, invoking certain emotions. This is why when you listen to slow beat songs, it makes you feel more sad. When you listen to upbeat songs, you feel more energetic. This is because these frequencies have a profound influence on reality and on how you feel. Because like I said, you are 60% water. And as you can see here, each frequency creates a different geometric pattern. And inside of you is 60% water. So like I said, 440 hertz is going to make a distorted pattern in your water. And this is going to have a profound effect on your emotions and your reality. So like I said, health is not just the body. You are made of body, mind, and spirit. You need to look after what you put in your body. You need to look after your spirit and look after your mind. It's very important to keep all these in balance, because once one of these are unbalanced, it affects the other two. So if you're eating wrong, it's going to affect your spirit and mind. If you're thinking wrong, it's going to affect your body and spirit. These are all interlocked. You have to look after them all. So it's very important you understand music. Stop listening to low vibrational music. To be honest, you want to listen to music without any sort of speaking inside of it. You just want pure frequencies, which are the solfeggio scale, like one of these, for example, 432, 528 hertz. These are all good frequencies. It's called the solfeggio scale. And these frequencies make you more in tune with nature. 528 hertz is what the earth vibrates at. So it's very important. And the Rockefellers are the one who changed this to 440 hertz. The Rockefellers, one of the elite families. So if you want to manipulate reality, it's very important to have your chakras aligned and having a high vibration, because the higher your vibration, the more powerful your words and your intentions are on reality. So the lower your vibration, the harder it is to affect reality, because you're in a lower state of consciousness. Like I said, you have the mental, astral, etheric, and physical. Everything is a product of the one above. As above, so below. This is what Hermes Trismegistus was saying in the Egyptian days. This is where it comes from. As above, so below. If you affect above, it directly affects below. So like I said, meditation helps on this, helps align your chakras. Think positive, feel positive. Like I said, your feelings are magnetic, your thoughts are electric. So once you combine these two together, you're then creating an electromagnetic frequency. And that will have profound effect on reality. So the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect. Every effect has the root cause. Like I said, your mind is the root cause of everything. Every decision you make is having a different effect on reality. Everything happens for a reason due to the root cause, which is your mind. You choose everything that happens in your life. Okay? So it's very important you understand this and you constantly make the right decisions, the good decisions, to have good effects on your reality. You have to be very conscious of this law because nothing escapes this law. This is the law of all consciousness. So think about it. Imagine a massive ball of consciousness. However, off this ball are different sparks, and each one of these sparks are in each and everyone's body. This spark is governed by these laws, the law of cause and effect, the law of correspondence, the 7 hermetic principles. It's very important you understand this because this mass ball of consciousness is what is obeying these laws, and everyone has this spark of consciousness inside their third eye. And like I said, everyone is the same consciousness. This is why if you do bad onto someone else, that will directly affect your reality. So if you hurt someone, it's going to come back to you in one way or another because you are that same consciousness. This is like a mirror reality. As within, so without. Whatever you feel on the inside, you're gonna see that on the outside. You're gonna experience that reality, whatever you've impressed. So there's different ways to bend reality to your will. This is kind of a sort of magic. So obviously you have black magic, which is manipulating reality to harm and influence others, or to be very selfish. And then you have white magic, which is manipulating reality for the good of humanity. So you do have to be very careful with your intentions, people, when you're trying to manipulate reality, because this is nothing to be played with. If you are manipulating reality for the wrong reason, it's going to come and bite you in the ass in some way or another. Because everything is balanced. Everything balances out in this reality. Nothing escapes the laws. Not one thing escapes the laws. So if you're stealing from yourself, because it's just going to come back in one way or another. Inside of everyone's heart, you know whether you're doing good or wrong. You know, you can feel it when you do something wrong. You can feel it when you do something good. The heart is the center of the Taurus field. It's balance. And this is why you say follow your heart, because it's the center of the Taurus field. It's very important to listen to this inner voice inside of you, because that is telling you the right things to do, the good decisions to make. And when you keep following that voice, that good voice inside of you, it takes you to your life path. Very important to follow that voice. However, don't let the ego get in the way of it. Don't care what your friends are going to say. It's very important to understand this. So, you have different ways of manipulating reality. You have sigil magic. This is where you create your own sigil or symbol. You create your own sigil and symbol, and then you charge it. You behind that symbol, you have an intention. So, for example, if you want to manifest wealth, you create a sigil which represents what you want. You create that sigil, you draw it out, you charge it, because wherever your attention goes, energy flows. So whatever your attention is, you're sending energy that way. So what you do with your eyes and your hands, you place attention on the sigil. Imagine that it's glowing. Imagine that you're sending energy to the sigil. And then you burn the piece of paper once you've done this. And then after this, you meditate on that symbol. You constantly think about that symbol, because that symbol is the frequency, is the thing that you want to manifest. So that's one way. Or you can just meditate on your reality. So imagine yourself having already what you have. This is what they call a mindset. You must set your mind to the frequency what you want to manifest. Okay? So if you want to manifest wealth, for example, imagine yourself being wealthy. What would it feel like? What would you be doing? Imagine a scene in your mind. Constantly do this, and you're putting out that frequency. Like I said, you must think, because the thoughts are electric, and then you must feel, which is magnetic. Together, this creates an electromagnetic frequency, and this is how you attract things to you. You will attract the certain people to come in your life to bend reality to your will. Okay? Or you've got mirror magic. Stare yourself in the mirror, because a mirror reflects light. It also reflects energy. So you've got to be very careful with what you say to a mirror. You've got to be very very, very careful, because whatever you send into that mirror is directly sent straight back to you. So if you're thinking negative, you're sending negative energy back straight to you, and that's going to have an effect on your reality. Affirmations are very important, because your words are frequency, your words are vibrations, and each word you say has a certain frequency. If it's if it's positively charged, it's going to affect you positively. If it's negatively charged, because like I say, your brain and your mind is like the director of energy. That's what your brain is, and it directs energy into certain things. You can either positively charge it or negatively charge it, and this brain is creating your reality constantly. It's manifesting your reality constantly in the present moment. So this is what the government knows. The government know your mind is the root cause of reality. This is why they call themselves a government. The New World Order is not being manifested by them. They are controlling the information. They are controlling your perception of this reality. And they know the mind is the root cause of reality. Therefore, if they control your perception of reality and your information, what you believe, you're going to manifest that information, that perception. So we, the people as a collective consciousness, are the ones manifesting this New World Order. You see, so this isn't black magic. They're actually tricking us into manifesting their plans, this New World Order. You see, this is how smart these people are. They know how to get around the laws of reality. They know how to bend reality to their will without facing the consequences. They're getting humanity to do it. You see, there is a collective consciousness. As like I said, we all have that same spark of consciousness, right? So, as a collective consciousness, we are on a very low vibration at the moment. However, we are waking up rapidly. There are more and more people waking up at the moment, and light always chases away the shadow. Light is a lot more powerful than darkness, you see. So, one person waking up has a massive effect than one person being asleep. It has a profound effect. Because like I say, the light always chases away the darkness. It's more powerful. The light is always more powerful. High vibrations are more powerful than lower. So that's it for this, people. I hope you all enjoyed. This is a short, quick video. God bless you all.
You are not breathing correctly. 98% of people only use a third of their lungs capacity, which is shallow breathing, which ages you, lowers your brain capacity, and also lowers your state of consciousness. So it's essential that you breathe consciously on a day-to-day basis, because this is what truly elevates your consciousness. I am going to give you the key for you to raise your consciousness just through breathing alone. Such a simple thing, but yet the most effective way for raising your state of consciousness and becoming more spiritually and mentally advanced. So tune in for this video, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it and the symbolism behind breathing. Air is more than just air. It carries electromagnetic energy. So now I'm going to give you the science behind this spiritual truth. This invisible force is what sustains all physical life, providing the life force energy essential for existence. Electromagnetism. Everything is fed off electromagnetism. Your body is an electromagnetic battery. Now, we can prove that air carries electromagnetism just by doing a simple test, a simple scientific experiment, by getting liquid oxygen and pouring it between a north and south magnetic pole, two polar opposite magnets. We see that the liquid does not fall straight through it. It is sucked, it is magnetically attracted to these two opposing forces, opposing magnets. This is proof that air, liquid oxygen carries electromagnetism. When you are breathing electromagnetism, the essential life force behind all living beings. This is known as energy or prana, chi, ether or spirit. This is all the same thing. Air is not just empty space, it is energy, it is prana, it is life force, it is spirit, it is ether, chi, prana. You are an electromagnetic being. Your consciousness is in direct correlation with your electromagnetic aura or biofield around your body. Your state of consciousness is mirrored within this field around your body. Now your breath, when you breathe in, you're breathing electromagnetism or life force. Breath is the vital link between the physical and the spiritual, bridging the body with the soul. Through breath, we connect with both tangible world and deeper, the unseen realms of energy and consciousness. Breathing deeply and properly elevates our consciousness, enhancing the brain's functions, heightening the sensitivity of our five senses. It also brings a profound calmness to the mind, creating a state of clarity and inner peace. Like I said earlier, breathing properly is the fastest way to elevate your consciousness. It is the fastest way, because breathing, when you stop breathing, what happens? You lose physical consciousness. Your body will shut down if you do not breathe in this vital electromagnetic energy in the oxygen. If your body does not get this for 5 minutes or however you can last without breathing, this makes you lose physical consciousness. Your body will not survive without this essential life force energy. Therefore, air is one of the most overlooked things. This is why we see the symbolism of Buddha having a big belly. Why does he have a big belly? Because it's symbolizing breath work, proper spiritual breath work, the certain teachings of breath work, of when you breathe in through the nose, you have to breathe in through the nose. You don't want to breathe in through the mouth, because the nose acts as a filter which catches dust particles and filters out the air before it enters the lungs. The mouth does not do that. The nose is for breathing inward. We breathe in through the nose, and when we breathe in, we breathe into our belly, not our lungs. When we breathe into our belly and our belly expands outwards, we are then moving this energy down from the nose down the spinal column. And when we breathe back out, the belly goes in, which is raising the energy up the spinal column, back out through the mouth. This is the true way of breathing, because when we breathe, we are moving energy. We are moving electromagnetic energy. When we breathe in through the nose, the energy travels down the spinal column. And when we breathe out, we are raising this energy back up the spine, some of it going out the mouth and some of it reaching the brain, activating dormant brain cells in the brain. But when we breathe, we need to make sure we are using 100% of our lungs' capacity, because the lungs is what transforms this special energy into consciousness, physical consciousness. So this is why Buddha has a big belly. It's not because he was fat. It's not because he was overweight. It's symbolism. It's symbolism of breath work. So try this. Do this for 2 minutes while you watch this video. Breathe in through the mouth as hard as you can until you no longer can fill any more air into your lungs and belly. Breathe it into your belly, not your lungs. And breathe out through the mouth. Do this for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, however long. I promise you, breath affects your consciousness. You will notice the difference. If you do it quicker, the quicker it'll affect your consciousness, and you might go lightheaded. But that lightheaded is you activating your spirit, your energy body. So try this just when watching this video. When you breathe consciously, you are renewing both your energy body and astral body, aligning your consciousness with a higher state. This practice feeds new life force energy into the body, revitalizing and enhancing your overall well-being. Like I said, your brain requires the most amount of oxygen. When we have shallow breathing, this is reducing the brain's capacity. Because when we are not breathing properly, which 98% of people are only using a third of their lungs capacity, we are essentially only using a third of our consciousness, because your breath is directly correlated to your consciousness, your state of consciousness. When you breathe in through the mouth, out through the mouth, out in through the nose, out through the mouth, consciously and deeply for 5 minutes, you will notice that your senses are more powerful and sensitive. Your brain is quicker. What's the word? It processes information quicker. You become quicker. You become a superhuman, and you feel more spiritual because it activates your spirit, your astral and energy body. So when we meditate, it's definitely important to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth as deeply as possible to align with a higher state of consciousness. And this is the easiest way to separate your consciousness from the body. When you breathe in deeply for long periods of time, while meditating, while taking no thought, when no thought is present and you gain a rhythm of deep breathing, this is the gateway. This is the gateway to opening your consciousness. Because when you stop thinking, other aspects of your consciousness can open up. All of our lives we've been thinking, which has blocked off the higher states of consciousness. So breathing is very, very important. It affects our overall well-being. And this is Yahweh, the in and the out of breathing. When we breathe in, this is Yah. You can hear it. It sounds like Yah. And when we breathe out, that is Wei. This is the name of God, apparently. But God is within you. You can connect with God. You can connect with source consciousness within you by breathing, by raising your state of consciousness through breathing and meditation. This is why the Bible tells you the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. You are consciousness. You are God. You're an extension of God's consciousness. Job 27:3. As long as my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. The Spirit of God is through breath. John 20:22. And when he said this, he breathed on them and said to them, receive the Holy Spirit. The word spirit means breath. In Greek, Hebrew, Latin, it all means breath or wind or air. The Holy Spirit is a certain way of breathing, a breathing technique that elevates your consciousness, that syncs you up to a holy consciousness, an elevated state. That is the Holy Spirit. That's why it tells you in the Bible, when he said this, he breathed onto them. He breathed onto them and said, receive the Holy Spirit. You must breathe to receive the Holy Spirit. When you breathe, you are renewing the body's energy. You're taking in new life force, which is regenerating your cells, regenerating your brain, nervous system, and also connecting with consciousness, pure consciousness. This is not something that we should be doing during meditation. Yes, it is. We should be doing it during meditation, but this is something that we need to apply all of the time. This is the fastest way you can raise your consciousness. I just want to say, all of this knowledge is inside of the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. Make sure to give a like and a comment on this video to help the algorithm. And let me know what you think about the last book or this book if you have read them, to let the new people know what they're looking at with this book. This is truly life-changing. The Volume 2 and Volume 1 is truly life-changing. You can get them in a bundle also. Learn hidden knowledge inside of the Ethereal University. This is where truth seekers belong. I'm not here to try sell you this, but this is the place for truth seekers. And if you are serious about your spiritual journey and serious about gaining knowledge, which gives you the advantage over life,
Join Ethereal University. This will definitely help you. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a like and comment.